Mars is coming opposite Pluto right around election day in the United States. So let's look back at other Mars opposite Pluto interactions and see what happened. First, we're looking at last year in May 20th, 2023, Mars and Leo was opposite Pluto and Aquarius. So not quite the same kind of aspect, but same kind of vibes for sure. And this was correlated to, in the United States, we were having a huge debt ceiling crisis where the budget wasn't improved. We didn't have any funds going forward, and there was a lot going on, especially in regards to the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. In the world, we saw some major flooding in northern Italy that was very catastrophic, resulting in a lot of landslides, floods, and destroyed housing and homes, with a lot of kind of critique of the government not stepping in a timely manner. And what I thought was funny, right before this Mars-Pluto opposition went exact, Elon was appointed as the new Twitter CEO, and we all know how that went down. Go back a little bit further, in early June of 2021, this is where we had Mars and Cancer opposite Pluto and Capricorn, similar to the one that we'll have coming up. And this correlated with a lot of the COVID vaccine efforts, but also the discovery of the Delta variant and how that was becoming a big issue in terms of the severity of the cases and what we thought we were doing in terms of repressing COVID. Climate change wise, we had record-breaking heat waves in that northwest Pacific coast. So Washington, Oregon saw some of the hottest temperatures that they've also saw, and the wildfire season in California was really bad that year. It started early, right around this Mars-Pluto opposition. Let's go back one last example in mid-June of 2019. Again, Mars, Cancer opposite Pluto and Capricorn, kind of building on the same theme. There was a lot of global government tensions, especially between the US and Iran, where two tanks were bombed and we blamed Iran, and there was a lot of back and forth. Trump was about to call another retaliatory attack and was thankfully talked down from doing that. Worldwide, Hong Kong had one of the most massive protests in its history. Over 2 million people were protesting this new extradition bill that allowed them to be extradited to the mainland China, which was a whole thing, but really marked a turn of democracy. So, okay, one positive thing, right? 2019, in that summer, we also saw the European heat wave crisis, where a lot of the temperatures were up to about 104 degrees in some European countries. So again, another theme with like climate change or intense weather conditions. This is just looking at oppositions, like even the conjunctions and squares can give us an idea, but what we're seeing is this big theme of really just power struggles at the highest governmental level in terms of nations and countries getting into intense dynamics, or high holding political people who hold a lot of power, even celebrities getting involved in some sort of scandal or conflict, usually between another person of power or influence. We also see a lot to do with that exertion of power over the earth and the natural resources, and how that tends to affect how resources are shared amongst people, and also how climate change is impacting our ability to take care of our own resources and secure stability there. So I think we're going to get a bit of a combination, we've already been experiencing it. The political tension has been incredibly high in the United States, especially with that election, and I do know and believe with that election date so close to the exact date, we're going to see a lot of these big themes or explosive reactions. We've also had an insane hurricane season this year. If you've been paying attention, it's been one of the most active hurricane seasons as well, one of the most destructive with how hot, and it wouldn't surprise me if we get some late hurricanes coming in, or some other, again, weather disasters that we are just not prepared for. This isn't to fearmonger, this isn't to make you worry, but this is allowing you to maybe look at the patterns that we see all the time and maybe say, yeah, I can kind of see how that's brewing now as well.